Welcome to Best CBD Center. I have a very special guest, and I'm so happy because he's actually actual medical doctor with a passion for CBD. Welcome, Dr. Philip Blair.
Tomas, thank you so much for inviting me to be on your show. I'm excited about being here and trying to answer as many questions that I can for you.
Thank you so much. I have a summary background on. I basically stole it from you, and I'm going to read it from here, and I'm super excited to have you here. So these are the words of Dr. Philip Blair about himself. So here we go. I'm a specialist in hemp-derived cannabidiol use and application for clinical disorders. Consultant, lecturer, blogger, advocate. U.S. Army colonel, currently retired. And let's talk about skills and expertise here in CBD field. PTSD, cannabidiol for autism, anxiety, my favorite topic, pain, schizophrenia, diabetes, dementia, migraines, and MS. Wow, that is quite of a bio. So what I want to do today is to ask most common questions, and this is going to be sort of a series, and we do maybe 3 or 4 questions, and then move to more questions next time we meet. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
What is the right CBD dose for me?
Everybody is different with their need with respect to cannabidiol. I don't know what the requirement is or what you're going to need to take care of your problem. I mean, I have a kind of a general idea, but there's such a great deal of individual variability that I can never rely on that. So I have turned to an approach for people using whichever product that they're using, and for them to start with the serving size that's on the bottle. You shouldn't go wrong with that. But if you don't get a response, if you hold that in your mouth for at least a minute, if you don't get a response within a couple minutes, then you may not get a good response from that, and that may not be enough. So I ask people to double the dose right away. Does that give you a response in a few minutes? When you start to feel some of the benefits and some of the changes, and you start to feel the effects in a very positive way, then you are starting to feel the changes that can happen with CBD. And I recommend that people use that dose, or that they increase to the level where it's controlling their particular symptoms. Now, sometimes with people with chronic pain, they have to keep increasing the dose to a relatively high level for a period of time. And then also change, I tell everybody to use it twice a day, but in fact, they may be able to, may need to use it 3 times a day to take care of their particular symptoms. Now, usually, if they're having to use a high dose for a period of time, it may be 4 or 6 weeks, and then they're able to reduce it. Classically, people are able to reduce by half or 3/4 if they're having to use a high dose during that time. I never am really able to determine that. Now, in some cases, the standard serving is actually too much for somebody, and they should then take half a dose or even a single drop of the agent in order to find what the right amount is for them, and then to sustain that over a period of time. There's a very low likelihood of interaction with any drug that's involved. And so I think it's safe and effective, and people should see these kinds of changes. A calming effect, a relaxation that occurs, a clarity of vision and of the mind, a change in the voice where your voice actually drops an octave, you talk louder, and there's more resonance in your voice. There's more easy to breathe, and you've got greater mobility, let's say in your neck or in your spine, or any limitations on a shoulder that you might have. All of those changes happen so very quickly. It's surprising. It seems almost miraculous in terms of these changes that occur. But I've documented it hundreds of times, and I'm very confident that these are real and that they will give you an indication of receiving the benefits from CBD right away.
I really like that. I heard you talking about this, that you would talk to a patient and right on the phone call or just face to face tell them to take another dose right away. There was just at once. Well, let's just do it and we will know. And that's what I love, because there's no other way to find out. Everybody's different, just like you said. There's no point asking someone on the forum, hey, how much CBD are you taking? Because obviously it's going to be a different amount. Would you agree?
Well, to a certain extent, but if they're using a very low number of milligrams, it's not likely that they're going to get the full benefit from it. You really need to be taking what the serving size is on the bottle and a significant number of milligrams for a standard tincture. So if you were taking a standard tincture, it would be on the order of 15 to 25 milligrams, and that would be an adequate dose. If you're taking a different type of form, let's say a liposomal, then you might have an improved bioavailability and you might be able to use lower dosage. I wanted to tell you and let your audience know that I generally use that standard dosing for ages 7 to 70. But if you get outside of those ranges, I'd like to go with half a dose. People in the geriatric range are more sensitive, start off with just half a dose. The same thing is true for the young children under 7 years of age. Half dose, but immediately increase to the level of effectiveness, to the level of response.
Just before I move on to the next question, I heard you saying that the standard dose, I know it's hard because everyone is different, but the standard dose you mentioned is between 15 to 30 milligrams. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on. So let me see what we got here. The next one. How can I know that I am buying the best CBD product, basically?
Well, finding the best CBD product is a bit of a challenge. You can get it, somebody can refer you to it, that it's making a benefit for them, or if you have the opportunity to have a sample of the product, you really want to look into the company that's providing it, and you'd like to see a certificate of analysis that the substance has been evaluated to determine that it doesn't have, in fact, have the amount of CBD that's there. And any other chemicals that might be there have been excluded, such as heavy metals, pesticides, biologic agents, bacteria or fungus, as well as other toxic agents that might be around, including solvents. You'd like to find a product that is organically grown, that is extracted with a pure extraction technique, that does not leave any residual chemicals that could cause you any problems. You really should be looking at major companies that are doing that. There's no reason that you have to get it locally, because quality products are available online and are available actually internationally.
Right. I like that. I like that. I think personally, just to add to it, if the company does not provide testing that we have access to, that's for me right away a red flag, because they should be transparent and we should have access to information and to learn to know what we're putting in our body. That's
one other thing that we've seen in the medical evidence is that a full spectrum product offers a number of additional benefits with fewer of adverse side effects. So we now have CBD that has its entourage associated with it as a full spectrum, versus the isolate formulations that are just pure CBD. Now, typically, pure CBD can be effective. It's been evaluated in a number of studies, but it takes a significant greater dose in order to achieve that, and there seem to be more side effects that are associated with it.
Okay, now, is the source of my CBD oil important? And when I'm talking about source, I think my idea of this is more like a hemp, where it's coming from. Is it like a local, whether that's from United States or internationally, because I think some hemp fields are outside the US, and I know people are skeptical and worry about it, that they might receive some bad CBD oil, but I think that comes back to those testings, right? That we'll actually know what is in it, right? That makes sense?
Well, I think the source and where the CBD is grown is quite important. The best products are actually are what we call a vertical market, in that the company is providing verification and certification of the farm product, organically grown and cleanly processed, all the way to delivery on the shelf in the patient's home. And all of these steps along the way are maintained for quality on each step of the way. But if you're looking at the plant product, yeah, you would like to see it being organically grown, that it is not in a toxic area like Chernobyl, and that it's
Sure.
being managed without pesticides or harsh chemicals that might be available to it, or even artificial fertilizers that could be around for it. You'd also like to make sure that these plants, and I haven't seen anything being done with regard to genetic modification, but I think there will be come a time where there will be efforts to do that. These plants are typically should be grown outdoors with full sunlight. Of the environment in order to give them the full spectrum of the benefits that are available from this plant.
I cannot just stress this enough how I'm happy and honored that you actually joined us here.
It's been a pleasure to answer the questions for you.
Okay, so thank you so much for being here with us today, Dr. Blair. And for all of you that tuned in, please subscribe to the channel. We'll share more information. Like it and put a comment down below or a question for our next episode. Thank you once again, Dr. Blair.
My pleasure and privilege.
And everybody, have a great day. See you next time.